Hello, everyone. I'm Lauren Hubele, and I want to welcome you to the first of what will be quarterly Gemmo meetups. It's very timely right now to have this spring meetup and talk about making Gemmos. And so I am very grateful to have three folks supporting me today that have been making their own small batch Gemmos for some time. We've got Brigitte Florani in Belgium and Teri Brooks in Minnesota and Lena in, I was going to say Foix, Lena, but you're not in Foix anymore, but nearby um,
Nearby.
in Ariège, France. So welcome. Thank you, ladies, for joining us. And I will keep an eye on letting folks in. And Bridget, I'm going to turn it over to you to get started with your wonderful presentation.
Thank you, Lauren. So, yes, I'm making my own Gemmos for myself and my friends and family. And yes, it's what I like in gemotherapy that it's easy to make by ourselves. Other phytotherapy remedies are not so easy to do. But chemotherapy, yes, you cannot easily make essential oils, but extracts of chemotherapy are easy to make. So what I will share with you is the picking, what solvents to use when preparing chemotherapy extracts, the maceration, the filtration, and then storage and preservation. So this is a quote from Anna Isnin, and the day came when the risk to remain tied in a bud was more painful than the risk it took to blossom, but when the bud is open, it's too late for us. The first thing is, and I think it will be the most difficult, I think so, is picking. So the most difficult is to recognize the trees when there are no leaves, no flowers, and you don't really know the shape of the buds, or each tree has a bud, a specific bud that will not be the same for another tree, like flowers or like leaves. But no one or few people only know really the buds. So what you can do is to spot the plants in advance. Maybe you walk during the summer, and then you can see here is a beech, or here is the oak. I will come later in spring to pick the buds. Or you can have a book that show the buds. So you have what? This is what can I take? One a bud that we are look. Yes, this is beech. So beech is a very sharp bud, and I have taken one today. Here it is. Maybe you can see it. It is very, very sharp. And with this book, you can recognize the buds. I can also show you some other that I took this afternoon. This is white willow. And this one, I keep it for later. And this is oak. They are very different. So this is the first difficulty. Recognize the trees. When you know you will go to pick the buds, so they have to be picked at the right moment. So the bud doesn't, this one, this is hawthorn. I took them this afternoon. They are too small. You need to pick them when they are ready to open, but not yet open. So this is a little bit too early. And just beside this hawthorn, there was another one. Maybe it has more sun. And this is already open. And this is too late. So this is the second difficulty, to pick at the right moment. And when the right moment has arrived, it should be a sunny day or not rainy, because the buds will be wet, so it's not good. And you go to the picking place with your material. The material is clean jars. It can be old jam jars. You can take them. Clean lids also. And then the maceration liquid. So it's a liquid made from water, alcohol, pure alcohol, and glycerin. And then you have to take with you labels and pen to put a label directly on the jar to remind what bud is in the jar. Why we use water, alcohol, and glycerin? Because these three liquids will take out of the plant different molecules. The water will dissolve all water-soluble active ingredients like tannins, vitamins, hydrosoluble vitamins, some acids, minerals, trace elements, and some flavonoids. Alcohol will take out alkaloids, heterosides, and some acids, and glycerin will take all the essential oils, phenols, gums, and waxes, and all other. So these three liquids are together form a very good extraction liquid. Some producers of Gemmo extract use honey instead of vegetal glycerin. So all the publications or the search about extract of chemotherapy were done with the glycerin extract, not the honey extract. So there are no publication about honey extracts, but when we use them, we see that it works. So this is also a good extractors. Usually we are making concentrated extract and then we dilute them to have D1 extracts. So to make concentrated extract, you have to take, normally you have to take 5% of bud for the liquid, for let's say, yes, 5 grams of bud for 100 milliliter of liquid. I don't do like this. This is the theory. I take the jars, I put the buds in the jar till the top, And when the jar is full, I will put the liquid to fill the jar over the buds. And then it's done, and we are waiting 3 weeks like this. Sometimes we can shake the jar, and that's it. It's really, really easy to do. Yes, the picking, what I said, you have to choose the right time. It's if the bud is too closed, they will not, it will not have developed all the molecules and all the properties the bud has. If it's already too open, the specific molecule of the buds are not there anymore. So it's important to pick the bud when it's ready to open. Not yet open, but ready to open. That's the difficulty. And here are the active principles of the buds. There are a lot, and there are hormones, phytohormones, there are proteins, trace elements, flavonoids, polyphenols, enzymes, and the phytohormones are very important. And we have 4 of them. One, the auxin is the growth in length. Gibberellin, it's make the opening of the leaves and the flowers. Cytokinin, it's for the young shoots, and the abscissine is to keep the bud latent during the winter, because the buds are already there at the beginning of the winter, but they can not open when it's too cold. So this is the hormone that keeps quiet and keeps, that's a dormancy. And these hormones are, when the bud is open, they disappear. So when you start to pick the buds, you have to respect the plants, because you cannot take all the buds of one plant. Best to fill your jar. You can take, if there are some plants, a little of one plant and another, and then you go to another plant and you pick some buds to another plant. You have to choose a jar that suits the quantity. You don't take a big jar to have only a few buds. And fill the jar as full as possible with buds to avoid oxidation. And as soon as the jar is full, cover with the maceration liquid, and then close the jar, and then you wait for 3 weeks. This is black elder, and black elder, you don't take the buds. This is an exception. I have here the black elder, and you see it opens too quickly, so you have to take the young shoots. And after 3 weeks, you have to filter. And I have this kind of material, which is very easy to filter. But if you don't have this, you can take potato masher, and it's okay. You put some, or you can put your buds. You filter first with a strainer, and then the buds that remains, you have to press them to take out all of the maceration liquid. When you have done that, you have to put in bottle. The best bottles are the Myron violet glass, Myron glass, that protects the best your extract. And this is from the website of Myron Glass. So all the other glasses, no, the white glass let all the ultraviolet and sunlight all ray. And this one, it lets in the good ones and keep out the bad ones. This one. And this one let everything enter, and it doesn't, preservation is not so good then. And these are the one I did last year or maybe before. This is blackthorn, and so I put the Latin name, French name, and then I write what I used to extract to macerate the buds. Here I use cognac and honey, but I also do with alcohol, water, and glycerin. And then I put a date, which is 4 years after the preparation. Normally, in this kind of bottles, it never it is never bad. And that's it. I hope I hope you understand everything with my poor English.
Your English is beautiful. Questions just on the presentation itself, because we're going to go into a couple other topics here. Just questions right off the bat from Brigitte.
I have a question.
Yeah, please, Teri.
You mentioned black alder as taking the shoots. Would blackberry be another one that you might take the shoot instead of looking for the bud?
Yes, you take the shoot.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, and Stephanie's asking about the cognac and honey for the blackthorn. This also works.
Yes, alors, when you use cognac and honey, you have to, so water, alcohol, glycerin is equal quantities of each. 1/3 of water, 1/3 of alcohol, 1/3 of glycerin. But cognac, alcohol, it's 96% water, alcohol, and it's pure alcohol. When you use cognac, the percentage of alcohol is only 45, 46, something like this. So you don't have to put water. You have to put 2/3 of cognac and 1/3 honey. Because in cognac there is already some water.
Thanks, Brigitte. Good. Let's pause there for a second and let's check in. Lena, did you want to? Oh, hold on, Stephanie. Okay, and this is in the final dilution, not the time. And it's
this is concentrated Gemmo. And then if you want to make D1, you take your concentrated extract and you dilute 1/4 10 or 1/4 9 in the same mixture, water, alcohol, glycerin, or cognac, honey. So you take, for example, 10 milliliters of your extract plus 90 milliliters of your liquid.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Mhm.
Yes?
Okay, I could not figure out how to turn on my microphone. Sorry, I just was I've got too much going on. So when you do your soak with the original buds, it's done in the water, alcohol, and glycerin.
Yes.
And
Or cognac and honey.
or you can use the cognac and honey at that stage. Okay,
Yes.
that was my question. And then to take that cognac and honey, that's going to be very concentrated, and you're going to do a further dilution once you're done straining.
Yes.
Okay, just wanted to make clear that that was what was going on.
It
Awesome.
depends if you want to use D1 or concentrated extract. In Europe, in Belgium, people are using only concentrated extract.
I I am using it mostly on animals, and I have to say that I love the D1 extract. It
Yes,
works
me too. Me
beautiful.
too.
Yes. So I have had that work so beautifully that I would like to continue in that way. I just was out on a walk this morning and saw some dog roast that is coming close, and I would like to try to make some. Okay, thank you so much. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Thanks, Stephanie, and thanks, Brigitte. Lena, would you like to share your screen and go through some of what you
Well,
have?
I've prepared, yes. I don't think I want to go through the slides because they are not particularly slides. It's like a guide for you to read it, yeah. And it helps. I'm hoping that it will help with identifying the trees. And I also included the recipes to this guide and the list of the trees and the parts we should take. So the list of the trees and bushes, yeah, and the parts we should take to make the gemmos. So you will find this guide under the recording, yeah, Lauren?
Yeah.
Okay, yes. Well, I have some probably differences in how I do my gemmos. It was interesting to hear how Brigitte does. So actually, I'm doing a bit. I'm taking a bit less of the buds, like 30 grams for 100 grams of the solution. Sometimes it's like a full jar, sometimes not. It depends on the kind of tree, the buds, the weight. Yeah, it's different. Yes, and I want just to add that I recommend also those who make gemmos not to pick the buds in the days of menstruation. It's like we are in different state in these days, hormonal state, so it's like folk wisdom not to prepare these things, yeah, and not to close the sun when you're picking the buds, not to close the tree, the bush with your body, just to not to close this energy that goes from the sun to the tree and vice versa.
So we're not shading the tree with our
Yes,
body.
shading the
That's
tree.
it.
Yeah, yeah,
Yes,
right.
you're right.
Yeah.
And I'm working with an Italian brand of gemotherapy, and they go even further. If the trees are linked to a planet,
Mhm.
and if the tree is, for example, linked to Mercury, they will pick on Wednesday.
Mhm.
If the
Well,
tree is linked to Jupiter, they will pick on Thursday.
It's interesting. I discussed this with my friend who is astrologist as well, but I found it like pretty like a challenge because sometimes buds are opening so quickly that
Yes, yes.
just a few
If,
hours to pick
yes.
them.
In Belgium, if you need to have a sunny day.
Mhm.
And if you need to be out of menstruation, you need to, and if you need to the take care of the day in relation to the planet of the
Yeah.
tree, you never pick the buds.
So many obstacles. Yeah. Yeah, I also know people who are picking, and when I started making my Gemmos, that was already like 6 years ago, I had the recipe, the first recipe from one French woman who suggested to pick only 10 grams per 100 grams of the solution. So there are some differences. I think it's normal, but yeah, maybe it's more concentrated form that you have.
Yes, when I did last year, I did the calculation of the concentration of my way of doing Gemmos. I don't remember for which Gemmo, but doing this, the concentration of birds for 100, so for in percentage was 7.5% instead of 5% in usual brands that you can find.
Yeah. And I also make a bit differently the D1 dilution. I add like one part of the concentrated form. For example, for a bottle like 50 milliliters,
Mhm.
I took like 5 milliliters of concentrate, 10 milliliters of pure water, and
Mhm.
35 of my solution.
Okay.
So yeah, a bit differently.
Mhm.
I also want to add that there is a recipe with organic sugar instead of
Yes.
honey. And well, I found that honey and sugar recipes are more difficult to preserve sometimes because they are like
Yes.
there are
That's
risk of fermentation
yes.
in these cases. So
That's
this
right.
classical
That's right.
recipe, the easiest one. And as I know, it works like for 5 years and even more. And if we make with honey and sugar, it's recommended to macerate for more, even not 21 days, but maybe 5, 6 weeks. And then you can still use it like for 3 years, maybe, or maybe 4, because this risk of fermentation still exists.
That's
This,
right.
yeah.
Yes.
So yes, this is all I wanted to share with you. Thank you. You are muted, Lauren.
Thanks. Teri, you've made some of your own Gemmos. Do you have some different tips for folks or ways that you've approached it?
These two are the experts, and I learned from Lena in the first go round. Well, actually, the first go round, I found a formula in a book, and it was a lot of consternation. I was weighing buds. It said dry weight. I didn't know what that meant, and then trying to figure out the right size. I ended up with huge volumes of lilac is the first one I made. Much like my herbal efforts, always start smaller. Always. But no, I have followed Lena's and I have done the honey with the birch sap. That was an interesting one. And I've had it for 4 years. It has not fermented at this point. But I'll keep an eye on that.
Teri, maybe you could talk a little bit about the birch sap experience because that's different than making the other Gemmos.
I'm trying to remember what I did. And I know I took notes. Oh yes, birch sap, 33%, glycerin 33%, and vodka 33% is what I did.
Okay.
That
And
was after I had drank several several pints and quarts of plain old birch sap. I'll
yeah.
tell you, that will really take care of cleaning you out.
Teri, are you tapping the trees like we would tap maple sap?
Yes,
The
yeah,
same tappers?
yeah, exactly.
Okay. Okay.
And
Now,
they produce a lot more sap than you would ever imagine.
yeah. Yeah. And just for folks listening to a side note, birch sap can also be boiled down and made into syrup, just like you would maple syrup. Has anyone started tapping birch sap yet?
No.
No. Okay. I would think we're getting really close to that here. We've had a number of daytime temperatures above freezing. So that's usually what we're looking for. What are you looking for in Minnesota, Teri, to indicate it's time?
I'm close to some Amish people that do a lot of maple syruping. And so birch is after the maple syruping.
Okay.
I mean, when they're coming to an end with that, that's when I start looking for, I better get a tap in if I'm going to do something.
Okay. 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 Brigitte, you've done birch sap?
Yes, but I received the birch sap and I dilute in so 1 part of birch sap for 9 parts of the liquid water, alcohol, and glycerin.
Okay. And just, a couple questions about supplies here because in America, getting the right kind of alcohol is a little bit more challenging than I think it is in Europe. Teri, what alcohol are you using?
Well, once I used brandy. Other times I've used vodka, real strong vodka, high proof, or Everclear in
Mm,
one instance.
okay, so vodka, Everclear. Brandy has a little lower
Right.
alcohol
You
percentage.
have rum, white rum. White rum
Oh,
is quite, you can find white rum at 50 degrees.
okay. I'll look
Okay,
for
and then if we're using white rum, so it's at a 50% alcohol, we would be not using the water then.
that.
No, no
Yeah,
water.
eliminate the water.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Lena, what are some different alcohol you've worked with?
Yes, I worked with different types because, well, in Ukraine, I used grain alcohol.
Mm.
And here in France, I bought some wine grape, yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, the
alcohol.
grape alcohol.
Yes, and also cognac already. So yeah, it differs. And when I was in Georgia, I made with their traditional cha-cha. It's called cha-cha. It's homemade alcohol. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yes, even this experience.
Mhm.
Yeah. Good. Yeah, I think it's important to note because Lena and Bridget, you're where the traditional Gemmo trees exist, and we have different varieties here in America. And that's part of the work. And what inspired me to do the work with the Gemmo forest is to start looking at these North American varieties. For instance, we have American beech and we have white pine instead of mountain pine. And so this is the first year that we'll be sending buds off to plant extract in Romania to be testing those medicinal qualities. So we'll be able to start building a materia medica on specifically the American varieties, as well as some other plants like we have autumn olive here, which is a good relative of sea buckthorn, and it's known to have many of the same. You also have autumn olive in Europe, but it has many of the same qualities. We have quaking aspen, which is directly related to black poplar. So if you're listening to this and you're in America, I think I want to just caution you that the materia medica, it doesn't exactly translate yet because we don't know for sure. We know some of the medicinal qualities of those plants, but once we're making a Gemmo extract, those qualities change, and they may include other organs and organ systems that you weren't planning on activating. Teri, do you have some Gemmos that you've done that are specifically American or North American plants?
American basswood would
Okay.
and lime. Yep, I find it very efficacious. Um, I have done lithy. I happen to have a lithy tree just because it was a plant that was at a greenhouse at the end of the season. I didn't know it was lithy. 5 years later, I found out. But I also have done a related species, Viburnum opulus, which would be high, high bush cranberry, or often called,
Yeah.
I forgot another name. Um, I've used that because I've used it herbally as well for spasmodic kind of pain things. And my most recent one, which I'm still playing around with, was prickly ash.
Okay. Nice.
Oh, and this year I'm gonna make aronia because
Mm.
that's in the rose family and it's very high in antioxidants.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking that could be kind of fun.
Yeah, I'd love to hear reports on that. We have that planted here, and we're testing nannyberry, which is related to, it's a viburnum too, so it's related to lantana, or excuse me, lithy. Um, I'm really curious about your American basswood and if you've tried any side by side testing on that.
I haven't. I mean, I'm using it for myself and my family,
Yeah,
but I
yeah,
haven't like done one day and the opposite
yeah,
the next day. I don't
yeah.
know how to
I
do that.
mean, it's so hard, right?
Yeah.
It's so hard to tell, but I'm super curious. Cool.
Well, I just look at it this way as an herbalist. Let's just take hawthorn, for example. It's a prodigious tree. There's so many species,
Yeah.
there's hundreds of species, and I think the chemical constituents are similar through the whole line of that plant. Yeah, there's going to be various levels of different things, and you're going to find out, I'm sure. I'm excited to know that you're doing that experiment.
Yeah, yeah, I'm glad you brought up hawthorn because we can't even identify the different species. Even botanists can't. So if you have hawthorn, use it. Well, don't worry about what particular species it is. I want to check back. Gabrielle, I'm so happy to see that you could join us. Are you showing up with some specific questions that you might want to jump in with?
No, I came in late. I had to finish something I was doing, but I just trying to listen to understand a little bit more. I wasn't there the last time you had one, so I just wanted to see what this was all about.
Okay, and we'll be posting this recording on YouTube on under the Gemmo Voices.
Uh, may I ask
Yeah,
Brigitte or
please.
maybe others if you have answer? So I know that, well, I would like to try this year's recipe without alcohol, like go with the glycerin and water. I know it's like it may work for, it will not extract those things
No.
that alcohol do, yeah. But anyway, it may be interesting for small children, for some people who are sensitive to alcohol. So if you know and can share something about this.
No, I don't know. I know that one brand in France is making Gemmo without alcohol, but I think they evaporate the alcohol after doing the Gemmos with alcohol.
Yes, I have heard about this as well. Yeah, I don't
Mm.
know how they, well, it's another process of
Yeah.
preparation. Thank you.
Yeah. Other questions? Stephanie?
I,
I had typed a couple in here. I was just curious, do you know if you can tap aspen trees for sap?
Oh, good question. I
It's
haven't.
a thought. I mean, they're similar to birch, but you said they're more similar to black poplar. So I was a little confused and I wasn't sure what that looked like. And then my mother-in-law has a lovely linden tree in her yard. And I really, really, really want to make some silver line. Is that going to be a European or an American variety? And how would I tell?
I mean, it's more than likely she's got an American basswood in her yard.
That's what basswood is. Oh, I see. They smell so
Oh,
lovely.
yeah, they're
Oh,
gorgeous.
I want one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. That was my questions. Thank you. Thank you for clarifying the basswood is the linden. Okay.
Yeah, and then I would go back to black poplar. I mean, aspen is in the poplar family, so
Okay.
it is. But in the larger family, this is, still there's still some relationship there. I would try it. Why not? And see what happens. There's here in the Northeast, there's a lot of movement to tap other trees for sap to boil into syrup besides maple. I don't know if you're seeing that in any other areas you all are in America, just because this is, in the maple trees, that's kind of a monoculture. And if we're moving towards forests that are more natural in state, that there are other trees that can also be tapped. So there's some interesting research that's been done on that. But I don't think you're talking about syrup. I think you're thinking more medicinally, right, Stephanie?
Yes. Yes, of course.
Yeah.
Yes.
Good. Brigitte, what about anything else that's coming up for you that you feel like needs to be shared?
I wanted to add that this brand, this Italian brand, when preparing the extracts, they put on top of all the thing that we said, they take the flower of the tree, they prepare it like back flour, and they add some drops from this flower extract to the Gemmo.
Yeah. Very interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Gabriella.
Bridget, which brand is that in Italy? What's the name?
Remedia.
So, and it's
Remedia Herbe.
where do you get it in Italy? From Simon or anybody, anywhere? Because I'm going to be in Italy on Monday.
It's near Bagno di Romagna, Emilia Romagna, Toscana.
Okay. So
They
then,
they also use some structured water, as I know. So they are very
Yes,
special.
yes,
Well, and that's certainly another option for folks doing it at home, right?
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
One question I'm always asked, particularly now that we're growing this forest, is how much do you need to make a bottle of Gemmos? Lena or Bridget or Teri, have you ever got it down to that? Like, how many grams of buds do you need that would actually get you one D1 bottle?
One bottle of what quantity? What quantity of the
D1.
bottle? Yes, but 30 milliliters, 50 milliliters, 1 liter.
Oh, that's right. What are we doing? Lena, what size are your bottles there? 50 milliliters?
Like 50 milliliters.
Yeah.
50 milliliters.
I
For
think-
this, you need some buds.
5 buds. It's not a lot.
Yeah, some
You
buds.
need some buds.
Several.
A few.
Like a
few.
handful. Yeah.
Just several.
That's the beauty of the chemotherapy versus aromatherapy. When you make essential oil, you need 500, 600 kilo or 1 ton or 2 tons of flour to make 1 liter of essential oil. And for the bud, you need 200 grams for 1 liter. To make 1 liter, 200 grams. That's it.
To make 1 liter of D1 or 1 liter of concentrate.
Concentrated.
Okay.
Yes. It
And
means
then
10 liters of D1.
Pardon?
That means 10 liters of D1.
Yeah. Yeah.
200 grams.
Okay. There's the math.
Beautiful, no?
Yes, we respect nature more.
Yes.
Well, and I think the thing that I've also observed is that it actually supports the growth of the plant. And when you're picking the buds, it's if you're doing it in a respectful way, that's producing more buds. And things like black currant, you're actually picking it at a time where you're pruning the plant, and you not only have buds and you prune your plant, you also then have a piece of black currant to stick in the ground
Yes.
and begin a new plant. So highly supportive of, yeah,
It is
Brigitte,
black currant, but
Yeah.
it's not ready. Not yet. It's not yet
not yet there.
ready.
Good. Okay. I'm feeling this has gotten pretty complete. Teri, anything else from you? Questions or anything you'd like to add?
Moments ago, I had a question. I don't recall what it was. So
Okay.
thank you, though.
Okay, good. Stephanie, how about you? Anything else coming your
I was just texting, I've got to run. I've got a patient that just pulled up. So, but this was lovely and it was so wonderful to see everybody. I missed you guys. Thank you so much for sharing your beautiful knowledge and so good to see everyone. I love you guys. I miss you. I've been running like crazy, but that's nothing new.
Yeah, take
Looking
care,
forward
Stephanie.
to the next time. Talk to you soon. Thanks.
Bye. Bye. Gabriella, anything from you you'd like to ask or share at this point?
No, I'm actually looking at Remedia Herbe.
Okay, cool.
Oh,
Cool.
but I was trying to find out where, I mean, yes, it's there, but can you buy it somewhere else in Italy, or you could order it directly from here?
Yeah, but if you, where do you go?
I usually go down to Naples.
Okay, okay. But when you are there, you can order
And I could have it sent to me.
on the website and they sent it to Naples. Yes.
Yeah, wonderful.
We actually didn't speak about dynamization.
Yes,
Okay.
you're
Thank you,
right.
Lena. Thank you for remembering.
You're
Talk to us
right.
about it.
So yes, again, I know that some people do this, some not. Brigitte, what about you?
I'm not doing it each time, but yes, yes. I
Yeah.
think it's better to do it.
Lena, you know the way that Roland taught it in REH. Can you talk about that for a minute?
I actually don't know how he did it.
Because
No.
there was a particular rhythm that
Ah,
he successed the Gemmos.
I don't know. I don't know. I have to ask Kathy.
Yeah,
Maybe.
you will. You will. So for those of you listening, Roland was a very beloved Gemmo grower, producer, and instructor in REH, France, and he passed away a couple years ago. But he had a very, very special way that comes from his early research. So that might be worth looking into. Okay, good. Well, then, very good. Lena, Brigitte, Teri, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you all. And we will be holding quarterly meetups, different topics, and just giving us a chance to continue to gather back together as a community and stay up to date on chemotherapy. So thank you all for your time today.